Perched on a hill in Piedmont, between Turin and Asti, lies the town where it all began, Castelnuovo d'Asti. Vineyards terracing down the valley, a stone church and houses. It was here that Joseph Allamano was born on January 21st, 1851. An ordinary child in an ordinary town in a region that would, within just a few decades, give rise to 4 saints of the church: Joseph Cafasso, John Bosco, Domenico Savio, and Allamano himself. He lost his father at a young age and was raised by his mother Mariana, a woman of few words and steady faith. From her, he absorbed a principle that would shape his entire life: do good properly and do it without fuss. At 11, he was sent to Don Bosco's oratory at Valdocco in Turin. He prayed, studied, and gradually came into his own. At 15, an unexpected meeting with Cardinal Messiah, a Capuchin missionary returning after decades in Ethiopia, left a lasting mark on him. But his health remained fragile, and for years, the life he had begun to imagine for himself seemed destined to remain just that, an idea rather than a path. He was ordained in 1873 at the age of 22. 7 years later, in what he would later describe as an act of obedience rather than ambition, he had wanted nothing more than simple rural parish. He was appointed rector of the Consolata Shrine in Turin. He would stay in that role for 46 years. He rebuilt the place from the ground up, its physical fabric, the quality of its spiritual life, and the formation of the young priests who passed through it. He also kept a close eye on the city growing around him, the women working in the new factories, the seamstresses, and the many poor who were easily overlooked. He had no interest for the spotlight or grand gestures. He listened, advised, helped, and stayed away from any recognition that might follow. Gradually, a larger vision began to take shape. If his health prevented him from being missionary abroad, he could form the men who would go in his place. In 1901, he founded the Consolata Missionary Institute. The following year, the first 4 missionaries set out for Kenya. He walked with them to the station, gave them his blessing, and turned back towards the city before they could see him struggle to compose himself. In 1910, encouraged by Pope Pius X, he founded the Consolata Missionary Sisters. He never left Italy. His missionaries did. To Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Mozambique, Somalia, and other African countries, before continuing on to Latin America and Asia. He remained in contact through letters, through prayer, and through a level of attentiveness that those around him often described, with a certain note of surprise, as almost maternal. On February 16, 1926, he passed away in the room at the Consolata where he had spent almost his entire adult life. Nearly a century later, on October 20th, 2024, Pope Francis declared him a saint in St. Peter's Square.
Saint Joseph Allamano.
He spent his life with patience and perseverance, doing what he believed God was asking of him. First saints, then missionaries. He would say this so often, it became almost a guiding phrase. This order mattered to him, he insisted. Being comes before doing. This is perhaps the secret behind a way of life that still, even today, inspires thousands of people across 30 countries around the world.